Hello, and thank you for joining us for this professional development session as part of Healthy Schoolhouse 2.0. These online professional development sessions are being offered online, on demand, courtesy of American University's Department of Health Studies. We hope they are a quick way to share nutrition education concepts that you can easily implement in your kindergarten through grade 5 classrooms in 15 to 20 minutes. Even better, once you record that you taught a lesson, you'll receive a certificate for 1 hour of continuing education. Once you've recorded that you've taught 3 lessons, you'll earn a $75 gift card for classroom supplies. So let's get started. In the next 15 minutes, we will cover a brief introduction of the Healthy Schoolhouse 2.0 project led by American University. We'll do a warm-up on the topic of healthy eating and nutrition with a quick round of myth or fact. Next, we'll review what it means to be healthy and eat healthy. Then we'll make a date with MyPlate so that you understand what a balanced meal should look like. Lastly, we'll challenge you to try something new with your eating habits. What better way to make the information come alive than to put it into practice in your own life? Healthy Schoolhouse 2.0 is a 5-year project funded by USDA's National Institute on Food and Agriculture. The goal of this project is to improve health literacy and prevent obesity in elementary school students in Washington, D.C. To achieve this goal, the program team designs, implements, and evaluates a set of research, education, and extension activities. The education component is what these online professional development sessions is all about. We will be covering the content from each of 3 lessons from the USDA's Serving Up MyPlate, a yummy curriculum. Our goal is that you then teach this information to your students. The research component relates to how we are measuring the impact of our work. At schools participating in Healthy Schoolhouse 2.0, we are collecting baseline and follow-up data each school year from both teachers and students in grades 1 through 5. We are also measuring consumption of fruits and vegetables in the cafeteria at lunchtime. The extension component is the work we do outside of the classroom by supporting Martha's Table Joyful Food Markets to help the lessons and content take on real-world relevance for the students. You may be wondering what we have learned from Healthy Schoolhouse 2.0 so far. For teachers, we offer a survey twice per year at the beginning and end of each school year. From this survey, we determine 2 things. The first is a health education belief score. The health education belief score describes whether teachers believe that nutrition education in the classroom is important. The scale is from 1, low importance, to 5, the highest importance. In the first 2 years of Healthy Schoolhouse 2.0, the health education belief score for both the intervention and control schools were similar, with an average health belief score over 4. The second teacher data point is a self-efficacy score. Again, these data are collected at the beginning and end of the school year. Teachers report their perception of their own ability to incorporate nutrition education into the class curricula. The scale is from 1, very little, to 5, very much. Initially, the self-efficacy score slightly decreased for the intervention school and slightly increased for the control school, though not statistically significant. At the end of the school year, the self-efficacy score had increased for both schools, with a larger increase for the intervention schools, from 4 to 4.41 points. For the students, we also administer a survey at the beginning and end of each school year. From this survey, we determine 2 things. The first is a student attitude score, which reflects student attitudes towards healthy eating, vegetables and fruits, and interest in healthy activities. This graph displays attitude scores for grades 1 through 5 combined. In the first 2 years of this project, the intervention school shows moderate gains at the end of each year. In particular, at the end of the second year, students at the intervention school reported an average increase of 3.8% in attitude scores, and differences in the control school were not statistically significant. The second student data point is student knowledge. The Student Knowledge Score reports on the student's knowledge of healthy food and the different nutrients that make up a healthy and balanced diet. Again, this graph displays knowledge scores for grades 1 through 5 combined. At the pretest, the intervention school students scored similar in knowledge to the control school students. But at the post-test, the students in our intervention schools show, on average, a higher knowledge score increase than students in our control school. So there's a quick summary of what the intervention project has shown so far among teachers and students, and we're excited to see the results going forward.
Now let's start with our appetizer on healthy eating and nutrition. Over the next 10 slides, we will ask you 5 questions about popular nutrition beliefs. Let's see how many of these you are familiar with and what is true. Number 1, skipping meals can help you lose weight. Myth or fact? Myth. Eating smaller meals throughout the day can help maintain a healthy body weight. Studies have shown that individuals who eat breakfast are more likely to maintain a healthy body weight, so skipping a meal is not the way to cut calories. Number 2, half of your plate should be fruits and vegetables. Myth or fact? Fact. It is important to try and fill half your plate with fruits and vegetables in as many meals as you can. It is recommended to eat 4 to 6 servings of fruits and vegetables per day. Aiming to fill half your plate with vegetables and fruit is the easiest way to keep track without having to measure out portions. Number 3, you should always eat foods that are labeled organic. Myth or fact? Myth. Just because a food is labeled organic does not mean it is healthy. Processed foods will label their food as organic for marketing purposes. I've even seen organic gummy bears. But when it comes to produce, try to buy organic when you can due to the many pesticides used in farming today. But bottom line, it is better to buy any fresh produce than none at all. Number 4, eating fat will make you fat. Myth or fact? Myth. Eating fat is a crucial part of a healthy, balanced diet. Fat is one of the 6 essential nutrients and it is necessary for your body to function. The goal is to eat more healthy fats, which are those from plant-based sources such as avocados, nuts, and olive oil. Number 5, the last one. Frozen produce has the same nutritional value as fresh produce. Myth or fact? Fact. Frozen produce is often frozen immediately after picking. This helps lock in its nutritional value. Frozen fruits and vegetables can often be a more affordable option that won't spoil as easily as fresh produce. How'd you do with those questions? Hopefully you have a better idea of some of the nutrition myths that are popular. We know it can be very confusing to navigate all the nutrition information that is reported. As extra food for thought, take a few minutes to check out this article from North Dakota State University, Finding the Truth, Reliable Nutrition and Health Information. It explains exactly how to sift through reliable health and nutrition information on the internet. For example, it lists some of the questions you should ask yourself when considering whether to try a new food trend like, does it promise a quick fix? Are the recommendations based on one single study? Is it a product being sold as a solution to a problem? Yeses to any of these questions raises a red flag that you should dig a little deeper before making any changes. All right, now let's jump into the first course on what it means to be healthy. What does it mean to be healthy to you? When we talk about being healthy, many different things will likely come to mind, and there are many answers that may apply to your life. Take about 15 seconds to think of different factors and aspects of life that you find to be essential to your health. There are 6 main dimensions of health and well-being: mental, intellectual, physical, emotional, spiritual, environmental, and lastly, social. All of these factors contribute to one's overall well-being on a daily basis and throughout your life. If you think of them as sections of a wheel, it's important to see which sections you do well and which ones need more attention so that you have a relatively round wheel and that rolls through life. We'll also mention that there are a number of other dimensions of wellness depending on how broad you want to go. Other components to consider are financial, community, vocational, or purpose. We've covered what it means to be healthy, so now let's talk about what it means to eat healthy. First up is variety. Try to eat a wide range of food from different food groups. Eating with variety is important because different types of food provide different nutrients and ensures that we get all the different types of vitamins and minerals that we need. Second, portion and serving sizes are really important. Portions have really grown over the past 20 years, especially at restaurants. Cooking at home can be a great way to control portion sizes. Another tip is to always check the serving sizes for food items. Measure and plate out serving sizes to help you consume less. Third, how fresh are the foods you eat? Eating fresh foods when you can is always the best option. Aim for unprocessed or minimally processed foods. Try eating whole fruits and vegetables at each meal. Ideally, half your plate should be fruits and vegetables. Eating frozen vegetables is an affordable way to get more veggies in and prevent them from spoiling. Lastly, eating seasonally helps you ensure you are eating fresh foods as well as getting the most nutrition from the foods. Eating seasonal fruits and vegetables is another great way to save money on groceries. Eating what is in season can always push you to expand the variety of foods you are eating.
The second course is Make a Date with MyPlate. So now that we've talked about what it means to be healthy and eating healthy, how do we put this into practice on a daily basis? And how can you, as the teacher, share this information with your students? That's why we are making a date with MyPlate. The MyPlate graphic is a great starting point to teach students nutrition in grades 1 through 5. It represents the 5 food groups, and by using these broad categories, it attempts to be inclusive of many eating patterns, from vegetarian to paleo. MyPlate is based on the Dietary Guidelines for Americans, which are updated every 5 years by the Department of Health and Human Services and the U.S. Department of Agriculture. The guidelines intend to help Americans make smart food choices and guide their physical activity so they can live healthier lives. The guidelines also connect healthy eating with chronic conditions such as high blood pressure or diabetes. You may recall that the MyPlate graphic replaced the food pyramid, which was used from 1992 to 2011. If you're looking on the internet, you will find many organizations that still promote the use of the pyramid along with the new MyPlate graphic. However, for teaching elementary school students about healthy eating, the MyPlate graphic will be easier for them to understand. Just a quick historical note. The MyPlate graphic was created with the help of the former First Lady Michelle Obama, who prioritized the importance of healthy eating and physical activity among children. Remember her White House garden and the Let's Move campaign? She advocated then and still does for healthy, good foods and lots of physical activity for kids. What to take away from MyPlate? Fruits and veggies. So what are the main points of MyPlate, and what does the average person need to know to make healthy choices at meal times? A big emphasis on making half your plate fruits and vegetables, which we've mentioned a few times already. The goal here is to eat the rainbow. In the next session on nutrients, we'll go into more detail about the message is to have a colorful plate. Try to eat more dark green, red and orange vegetables, beans, and peas. What to take away from MyPlate? Grains. Next, we want to try to make half of our grains whole grains, such as whole wheat bread, oatmeal, whole wheat tortillas, brown rice, and popcorn. Whole grains reduce the risk of heart disease, stroke, cancer, diabetes, and obesity. What to take away from MyPlate? Protein. The fourth section of MyPlate identifies protein, which can either be animal or plant-based. Choosing a different sources of protein can keep your meals tasty, interesting, and provides more nutrients. What to take away from MyPlate? Dairy. Last, the dairy group represents the importance of getting calcium-rich foods. You don't necessarily need to eat dairy foods to get the recommended amounts of calcium. Seeds, sardines, and canned salmon, beans and lentils, almonds, and some leafy greens like collards and kale are also high in calcium. Other notes about MyPlate. As a final note, when we are discussing eating habits and food choices, it can be very complicated, since there is no single right way to eat healthy. There are many different eating patterns that can promote health and well-being. Therefore, we want to call out a couple of things that are missing from the MyPlate graphic. Water. It is recommended that everyone consume about 8 glasses of water a day. Physical activity is also not shown. It is recommended that adults move their bodies 30 minutes on most days of the week, and children should be active 60 minutes per day. Finally, the food industry adds items to foods that will sweeten them, such as sugar, or increase their taste with salt or fat. These additions are fine in moderation, which is why they are called sometimes foods. Sometimes foods are those that contain a lot of calories and less nutrients. We'll talk more about these sometimes foods in the third session. Savor the learning. Now that we've shared this overview of MyPlate, hopefully you have a grasp of the main ideas to keep in mind as you prepare your nutrition lesson. As a final summary, watch this 2-minute video and learn more about MyPlate from the Department of Agriculture.
The Make It Real Challenge, half your plate. Teachers, you truly make the difference. All of this nutrition information will come alive for your students the more you talk about it and link it to other topics in the classroom. Make it come alive in your life by paying attention to the fruits and vegetables you eat at each meal for the next week. Are you able to eat an orange and dark green veggie every day? Can you aim for 2 servings of fruits and vegetables at every meal? You don't have to aim for perfection, but pick one color or one food that you will eat this week and add it to your shopping list. Remember, a little bit of something is better than a lot of nothing. Thanks for spending this time with us to understand concepts around nutrition myths, being healthy, eating healthy, and MyPlate. Now that you've watched this training, don't forget to teach the lesson to your students so that they understand MyPlate and the 5 food groups. Once you've taught that lesson, record it on the form on our Healthy Schools webpage. This will earn you a 1 hour of continuing education credit. After teaching 3 lessons, you'll earn $75 for classroom supplies. On behalf of American University's Department of Health Studies, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.